Morning. Good to see everyone out this morning. I think spring's trying to make it now. It seems like it's been slow coming this year, but it is getting here, and we're glad to see it. I don't know when I've ever been so happy to see spring come. It's just it's good to see and hear the. I know this morning or the other morning you could hear the birds singing inside with the windows down. So I mean they know it's about here. So it's good to be able to hear the birds again. I want to continue to remember those that are sick. I want to remember Libby Enberg is at home, and she has a surgery date set of May the 30th. So let's hope that she'll be able to do that, and it'll improve her situation. I want to continue to remember Betty Conley. Want to remember Joyce Mathis. Jean Trin is back in ICU. She's still struggling. She's got low blood pressure, and I think the infection is back. So Jean has had a rough time. I think she's been in the hospital since sometime in January. So I know last week she was getting discouraged. She was it just has drug out so long. So let's continue to remember her and remember Doug as he takes care of her. Are there others sick that need to be mentioned this morning? Before? Yes, Judy.
We need to remember Philip Hawkins, which is Denny Hawkins' brother, will have surgery tomorrow.
Okay, Denny Hawkins' brother Philip will have surgery tomorrow.
And also P.D. Gibbons' grandfather, Charles Gibbons, will have surgery Wednesday.
Okay, P.D.'s grandfather will have surgery on Wednesday. Want to remember him. I know that's been in announcements lately that he's had several health issues. Yes, Gail?
This could be serious,
Okay. Remember Denny's brother, Philip. Yes, Brent?
My sister, Tina Wright, she's been diagnosed with cancer and will be taking treatments.
Okay, Brent's sister, Tina Wright, has been diagnosed with cancer, and we want to remember her. She's going to start treatments this week, did you say? Soon, okay. So let's remember her in our prayers also. Gail, did you? Okay. Others?
Mike?
Yes.
Alan's sister, Anita, her husband had a heart attack yesterday. He has one time they said 90% blockages, and another time for sure 90% blockage in his main artery. They did a heart cath. They were going to do open heart surgery yesterday, but after the doctor reviewed everything, he said, let's wait and let his heart recover a little bit. So the plan is to do open heart surgery tomorrow.
Okay.
And Alan took off this morning to head out there.
Okay.
He said they're in Little Rock, Arkansas.
In Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay. Alan's sister, Anita's husband, had a heart attack and will have surgery. Plans are tomorrow, but I think they was going to do it earlier, but he wasn't. They wanted to let him heal just a little bit before they did. So let's keep Anita's husband in our prayers, and hopefully the surgery will go good and he'll be able to be back out. Others?
Michelle Kraft's sister is out of ICU, but she still needs somebody with her all the time.
Okay. Michelle's sister is out of ICU, so she is at home. Okay. Okay. So, but she has to have somebody with her all the time. Not doing well still. So, remember Michelle and her sister as they take care of her. Are there others? Jerry?
Dan starts a gospel meeting
Okay.
I think it's near Columbus, but I don't know the name of the town. But pray for him to have a good meeting.
Okay. Dan is in Ohio for what, 3 days?
Probably
Through Wednesday in a gospel meeting. So keep him in your prayers while he's away, and pray for a safe return. Our preachers are busy here in the last week or so. They're traveling and spreading the word, I guess, other places. Are there others? All right. Jerry, would you mind to lead us in a prayer?
Let's pray. Holy Father, we bow before you this beautiful Lord's Day, thanking you for the great privilege and opportunity to gather here with your people. We thank you for the church. We thank you for the Lord's Day. We thank you for this time that we can come in out of the world and study your word, learn more about you, and bring our petition to you on behalf of these that have been mentioned as being sick, these that are having difficulties in their lives. And we continue to ask that you pray for them, for Gene Trent and the others that have been mentioned, that you be with Philip in his surgery, that things will go well there. We pray that you continue to bless us as we try to spread the word. Be with Brother Dan in his gospel meeting, help great results to happen there as the word is taught. Go with us throughout this class and throughout this day. It is our prayer to be pleasing to you. In Jesus' name.
Amen. This quarter we've been talking about encouragement and things that we can do and how we can encourage, how we can be encouragers. The last 2 weeks we talked about discouragement, and there's a lot of ways that we can be discouraged. There's ways that we can discourage others, maybe not even meaning to, just by things we say. And we want to be careful with that and always strive to be an encourager and encourage people to live for Christ. This morning we're going to talk about the possibilities of encouragement. Encouragement is a process of inspiring others to live with greater hope and courage. This is one of I think one of the biggest jobs maybe that a Christian has. I know at times we get people get the impression with us that we're always down, that we're always doom and gloom, and Christians sometimes are not happy. And I know Jerry's mentioned sometimes about songs we sing, songs that should be happy to us, things that, and we sing them like, you know, we're down. But we need to be encouraged ourselves. There's no one, and it don't matter whether we're rich or we're poor or what kind of shape we're in, there's no one in the world that's more blessed than Christians. As Christians, we have that hope that someday we're going to live in heaven with the Lord, and that someday these trials and tribulations will be over, and we'll be happy. We're going to be happy all the time. So we need to encourage others as we go along. It won't hurt us to smile. Sometimes we think it does, but it won't. It won't hurt us to smile and be happy. It won't hurt us to encourage somebody else when they're feeling blue, when they're down. We need to strive to do what we can to inspire others to follow Christ. Encouragement is needed in every sphere of our life. Do we need encouragement at work? Every day we need encouragement at work. I think maybe the longer you work, sometimes the more encouragement you need. I know at my job, sometimes you feel like, well, here I go again, and I'm not making, am I making any difference? Am I helping? Am I doing anything that our motto or whatever at work, where I work, and I work for used to be the Soil Conservation Service, and we had to come up with a bigger name, so it's the Natural Resources Conservation Service now, and our motto is helping people help the land. So I told somebody the other day, I said, I'm starting to get a little tired of helping people help the land, but we become discouraged. And that is a good, to help people with what they're doing. And I think at work, sometimes our enthusiasm can be quickly diminished by a boss that's maybe domineering and maybe is always on us and not encouraging and not striving to help us do what we need to do at work. What about at school? And we've got teachers in here, but what about at school? What about a teacher that may deflate students' ego, that may cause their... what would that do? If you got a child that's enthused, maybe they're a little too enthused sometimes, you can't keep them where you want them to be, but if you just are always on them and putting them down, what happens to that child? They don't progress. They get down, don't they? And that can happen. And sometimes that happens when, and it trickles down, it seems like. Maybe the teacher, maybe the principal has been on them and putting so much pressure on them that they can't perform the way they want to.
Mike, I was in a meeting years ago, and it was with an educational meeting, and it was supposed to build us up, I think. And I always remember that speaker saying, do not wear black on a rainy day. Because what the teacher wears has a lot to do with how the child performs. And you come in there and you look at black and dreary on that rainy, dreary day, then your children are going to kind of respond in like manner.
Yeah. We need to be aware, don't we? Aware of what we... and I think a lot of times maybe we might not even think that we're being discouraging to somebody or a child or whatever, but we are at times. What about at home? Home's a place designed by God to be a place of comfort, isn't it? But it also can be a place of great discomfort or discouragement. What about these children that are in homes, whether broken homes or whether homes that the parents may be addicted to a substance, whether drugs or alcohol? Are those children encouraged?
Sometimes the only good word they hear is when they get to school.
And that shows us it's important. We're important to how people feel, aren't we? Teachers are important. That might be the only encouragement that these children get when they come to school. But home should, and I think for a lot of us, I know I can speak for myself, I was encouraged at home. And I was a blessed child, I guess, to be raised in the home that I was raised in with the parents that I had. But I know some it wasn't the case.
This is the best place for some of those kids too. That's the only time they hear anything good and everything about the world at home, but here in church, so they need people and should be encouraged.
Yes. We should be encouraging them here if we can get them here. And that's the trouble. A lot of them don't even get the opportunity, do they, to be in a worship assembly where they can be encouraged. And that's my next point, Alan. The church is intended by God to be mankind's supreme encouragement zone. Christian assemblies are about worshiping, serving, and learning, but they're also about belonging. We belong. If we belong, we are encouraged, aren't we? If we feel like we belong, we're encouraged. It's a place to love and be loved. There's so many other things and so many places, and we can be encouraged by other places and other things. But no man-made institution can encourage the heart, the mind, and the soul like the church can. What makes the church that way? And some of you may be saying, hey, that's not here. We don't, And if you are, let's talk. Let's see if we can't improve that. Let's see if we can't strive to make this a place of encouragement for you.
Hebrews 10:24 says that one of the reasons we assemble is to stir up one another to love and good works. And that's encouraging. I mean, that encouragement is involved in that. The church designed by God and the assembly was designed by God for those very reasons, so that we could encourage one another, keep one another stirred up, not stirred up in the sense of being mad, stirred up trouble, but stirred up to love and good works, encouragement.
Yes.
Nothing's more encouraging than to come in out of the world, get to assemble with the saints, to me, I mean.
Yes.
And God designed it that way, for our own encouragement.
He designed it for us to be edified and built up. We do. I mean, our main reason coming here is to worship God and to adore Him and praise Him. But in doing so, there's benefits for us as Christians. Satan has attempted to counterfeit the atmosphere of the church. Many people join service organizations or entertainment establishments looking for a place to belong. They look for a place for someone to care about them and maybe someone to care about. As a church, we need to recognize this. We need to understand that that's a lot of people, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for somebody to care about them, to help to understand them. The church has the answers to what ails mankind. The church can provide encouragement to face reality rather than just a way of escape. Why is that so? Why is the church a place of encouragement to face reality rather than just to escape? Why do a lot of people turn to alcohol or drugs? To escape, trying to fill a void. Do we need that if we're trusting in God? Trusting in, we've got that whole field, haven't we? We're not escaping. Encouragement is essential wherever there are people. We need to remember we can make the world a more encouraging place only to the extent that we become more encouraging. Can one person change the world?
Make a difference around himself and change his little part of it.
If one person changes the world and then they change this person, how long? It don't take long when you keep spreading it, does it? One person God, Jesus, changed the world through His death on the cross. And He taught these 12 apostles, and these 12 apostles taught others around, and it spread, didn't it, to all the world. We can make a difference. We can encourage. We can be encouraging. And I'm a little leery, maybe. It says, especially lately, she might tell you something altogether different. So, but we're going to go. We're going to go there anyway. But how do people feel as a result of being with me? How does my spouse feel? Is she happier that we've been together? Are we happier that we've been together? What about my children? And there again, I have trouble getting away from all that. But do my children look forward to seeing me? Do they look forward to being around me? I know there was times Joe didn't look forward to seeing me, probably, but hopefully now he looks forward to seeing me. But yes, and our grandchildren, it goes right on down, don't it? What about our co-workers? What about those that work with us? Do they smile when I walk up? Or are they saying, uh-oh, here he comes again. He's probably got some problem. He's going to tell me, he's always down. He's not, he'll have me down and depressed again. Is that what they see? Do people come to me and talk about their hopes, about their dreams, or when they're feeling down? As Christians, that's something we need to strive to have people want to come to us, want to talk to us as individuals, because when we leave out of here, we're kind of peppered throughout the community. I mean, we've got people that work in schools. We got people that work for government institutions. We've got people in hospitals. We've got people in retail. I mean, we've got people in every walk of life. So we're scattered. How does the word get spread through our community? If we're people that are encouraging and people want to be around, won't we have a lot better chance of spreading this word? He's not here, we'll brag on him, but Dan is one of those. I think they enjoy being around him. People are kind of drawn to Dan because of his attitude and his love of people. And Jerry is too, but we won't talk about him because he's sitting here.
Not like he is. One of the things that aggravates me about that very thing, we're scattered out all over the world. One of the worst things any one of us can do is talk badly about the church out there. Even if we have something bad to say about the elders of the church, elders or the church or another member or something that's going on, we don't need to be telling people outside about it. That's our business.
Yes.
And how are you going to win souls when you're just talking bad about the church all the time? That really gets under my skin when I hear people doing that.
It's hard to win. It's hard to win those, isn't it? And I think that's the reason that it's in Scripture that if we have aught against our brother, go to them. Go to them. Don't spread it through the community. It's just not good for the congregation. Good for the local church. Alan?
Let's go back to Dan. See, he cares about everybody, not just somebody, but everybody.
Yes, he does. He's not a respecter of persons, is he?
No, it's me, you, or
Yep,
one off the street, or wherever.
you're right. He cares about all.
I think this thing about what Jerry's saying too, we're too prone to complain to others when we ought to be complaining to the person that's causing us to complain.
Yes. It's easier sometimes, I think, as people, and that's maybe part of the human part of us. It's easier if Jerry's hurt my feelings. It's easier for me to go over and tell Wes, Jerry, I tell you, he talked to me like a dog, you know. But if I go to Jerry, we can work that out, and Wes don't even need to know, and it don't affect Wes as far as his work with Jerry, does it?
I think it makes the person that's doing the maliciousness, that the person that's talking bad about the church, it makes them look bad to me. I don't know if it does to everybody,
Yeah.
but from my perspective, I think less of them for not wanting to hurt the person in the first place. Trying to get it, like you said, settled like the Bible says in Matthew 18, settle it between you and him. It needs to go no farther.
Yes. Our people, and we're talking about being with people, and mostly in the church, but are people able to live their life more positive and constructively because of their time together? Are we able to live our lives more constructively and positively because of our time together? We encounter obstacles, though, don't we? There's obstacles. There are plenty of obstacles on the pathway to becoming a more encouraging person. Society's definition to success is in terms of being superior to others, and that's a hindrance, isn't it? And I think that's kind of what Alan was talking about when he said Dan sees everybody the same. And I think as Christians, we have to strive to see everybody the same. If somebody comes in that has nothing, and it talks about that, do we give him the best seat in the place, or do we kind of scoot him in the back so people don't notice? Society judges people by how successful they are in this world, don't they? How should we judge people as Christians? Is it just because they make a lot of money?
I've always had this little thing. I told my kids until they got sick of hearing it. Start everybody off at 100%, and where they go from there is up to them. That just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
No matter what they look like, what they have, what they do, what they smell like, whatever. Start them all off at 100%. Now, they may do something that causes you to think less of them, but not at the beginning. First impression, just start them off like you do everybody. Start everybody on a level playing. That just makes sense to me.
Yeah. A lot of times, and I think us as Christians, I know myself, I worried about my kids that they have a good job and a good pay, and there's nothing wrong with having that. There's nothing wrong. But we need to encourage our kids to be Christians. And whatever comes with that is great. If they have a good job, great. But if they don't have the best job, if they're making it and they've dedicated their life to Christ, great. They're a success. no matter what they do, they're a success. On this basis, most people are destined to be discouraged, even though they may be valuable contributions to the world around them. They may make valuable contributions. If you have to be on top, if you have to be on the very top, you're going to be discouraged, aren't you? Most people are. There's just one on the top, if we look at it that way. What about the person that's in the Olympics? And they feel like they're just completely a flop because they get fourth place. They didn't get a medal, you know. Fourth place, didn't get anything. I'm nothing. And I think sometimes in the world that's the way we feel. If we're not on top, if we're not in the front view of things, we're nothing. We discourage ourselves, not only ourselves, but others. We're bad about, in America, middle class, we look at the rest of the world and I'm poor. Oh, I'm poor. I don't have anything. I mean, here, and I say I don't have anything, but I got a house, a roof over my head, we got 2 cars, we've got, I mean, how many things do we have that if we look not far away, there's people that don't have a place to live. There's people that don't have food to eat. And I am above all people most blessed when I look at it like that. A lot of times we just, we think just because I'm not here, that I'm here on my pay scale, that I'm nothing. Unrealistic standards rob people of happiness and contentment, and God intends us to enjoy. Let's look to 1 Timothy. First Timothy chapter 6. And 6 through 10. Now godliness with contentment is great gain, for we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. And having food and clothing, with these we shall be content. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation and snare, and into foolish and harmful lust, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil, for which some have strayed from the faith in their greediness and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Nothing wrong with having money, not one thing. In fact, I think a lot of times us or people that think they're not rich but think they're poor may be worse off than people that have money sometimes, because we're coveting what others have. But we need to strive to be happy where we're at. If we're happy where we're at, then we're able to encourage. We're able to encourage others. And then that is catching, isn't it? If I'm happy where I'm at, and I encourage somebody else, and they look at me and say, well, he don't have what I've got, and he's happy as he can be, you know. It encourages. It encourages others in that, in their endeavor to be encouraging. Another thing is seclusion. Isolation is another roadblock on the road to encouragement. It's hard for us to encourage people and live far away from others. If we don't get out among people and encourage them, it's hard for us to draw people to Christ. To take time for others is how we relate effectively. And that goes back to us talking about listening and talking to others and being good listeners. When we're preoccupied or distant, we send a message to others that they're unimportant to us, that we don't care about them. Any comments? I feel like I've gone on and on here.
I think even with all these communication things that we have now, they say the world's getting smaller because, something could happen now and 10 seconds from now, people in Russia can be reading about it. But I think even with all that, we as Americans lately tend to be isolated. There's a term, I think I've used it before here, called cocooning, where you go to work, you do what you have to do, you go home, shut yourself up in your tidy little house, and you don't mess with anybody else until you absolutely have to. And that's dangerous for Christians especially. We're supposed to be a social being. Paul said no man lives or dies unto himself. And we're created that way to be social beings. And to deprive yourself of that, it would be discouraging for you and the people that you can be encouraging.
Yes. Well, we can't, like you say, we can't be encouraged by others if we're not there, and it's for sure we can't encourage them if we're not there for them. An encourager can't be selfish or unsocial, and I know there's people that are more social than others. That's just, some people have an easier time at talking, and we have to work, but to just strive not to be around people is tough, and it's hard to be a Christian and be that.
When you talk about can we make a difference, can we change the world, it reminds me of that story about a man walking down the beach, and there were thousands of starfish that had washed up, and he was just one at a time picking them up and throwing them back into the water, and somebody came up and said, why are you doing that? You're not going to make a difference. Look at all of these starfish out there. And he picked another one up and threw it out in the water and said, well, made a difference for that one.
Yes, and I think that's the way we need to be, don't we? I mean, if we can make a difference in one person, just look at the difference it can make. Just one person. Why is it important to attend church services to be an encourager?
Even though we're here, we don't know what's going on in each other person's life. And just by our being here, that may be an encouragement to that person who's having a really bad day.
And Nancy, I could be one of those that stayed home. I could be, I'm happy. I'm happy being at home, and I think that's maybe that's why God blessed me with her, because she tries to get me out, and we go, and it's good for me. I've several times when I come in from work on Wednesday night, I'm tired, and I say, I'd just like to crawl over there in my chair and lay back and just take it easy. But I come, and what happens? It never fails. I'm always happy that I come and with fellow Christians.
And other people are glad you did. You probably encouraged them by being
It just, it works, don't it? It works even when we're not actually planning on it. Maybe I don't know that I've encouraged somebody, but I know people have encouraged me when I've come, and they've come up and said something that I needed to hear, and they don't even know that it's encouraged me, but it has.
I've seen over the years in gospel meetings, people would invite somebody, a stranger, to a gospel meeting, and when that person would show up, the person that invited them not be there, and you could see the disappointment in their face.
Yeah.
I came because he asked me.
Yeah.
Not even. And it does make a difference.
It does. Joining together in prayer and songs of praise, that affirms our faith. That helps us affirm our faith. Even announcements. And I tell you what, and I've talked to some of you all, but I'd almost rather teach this class as get up and make announcements, because it's hard. Announcements are hard sometimes, but even announcements give us countless ministry opportunities. If we listen, if we pick up that paper out here on the table, if we pick up that paper and look at the sick and look, I mean, if nothing else, if we don't make it to visit every one of them, we can at least pray for that person. We can at least maybe pick up a phone and call that person, and encourage them, and just let them know that we're here, that we haven't forgot them. So many times when somebody's been out, and I think of Skeeter and Christine right now, and Betty Conley, and there's others that have just not been able to be here for so long. And sometimes we don't call maybe as much, and they get the feeling that maybe they don't matter. But they do. They do matter. And if we look at these things, and the announcements will give us several opportunities to be encouraging to others. We've all heard it said, or maybe we've even said it ourselves, I came, but I didn't get nothing out of it. I didn't get nothing out of the service. Who is that saying more about? Is that more about the service? Or is that more about the person that said I didn't get anything out of it? We have to put it in, don't we? And I'm going to say I'm probably guilty of this. I may have said that in times past. I strive not to say it now. But we need to put in and strive to get out of the service. We have to put in something in. We got to give something to get something back. How about low self-esteem? What does that do to our ability to encourage? A shortage of self-esteem makes it hard to relate to others, don't it? Makes it hard to encourage others. Jesus was a great encourager because he felt good about who he was. He spent time encouraging others rather than spending time trying to build himself up, didn't he? We need to be building others up. The Bible tells us to put others before us. Put others first. If we're not totally committed, if we're not fully committed, we limit our encouragement ability. As Jerry was talking, maybe talking to other people about somebody in the church, or running some people in the church down. It limits our ability. Our ability to influence others with that person is pretty much gone, because they wrote it off now if they believe you. I know short-term commitments are characteristic of today's culture of instant gratification. Short-term commitments, and that's where we're at. And I don't know whether good or bad what's happened. I don't understand, but I know when I was first starting to work, people would get a job and they would work that job pretty much till their retirement. And anymore, I think, like I say, whether good or bad, people do job hop quite a bit, and then it carries over maybe sometimes into our spiritual life, and we want to hop churches, different places, and we don't have that commitment to the church. Encouragers are dependable people. I know if I call Brian and need help, Brian will help me. I know he will. I mean, he'll come. I hope all of you all feel like if you call me and you need something, I'll come. But we have to be dependable. We have to be there for others. As encouragers, we must stick with our relationships. Relationships mean something. In the church, a relationship with a Christian means something. We don't want to just let it go. We don't want to just say, well, that's fine. If that's the way you feel, go. We can't do that. We have to stick with our relationships. It seems like marriage today has been that. Nobody wants to stick. First thing goes wrong, we'll part our ways. But we can't do that. We can't do that in marriage, and we can't do that as a Christian, with our Christian brothers and sisters. Encouragement is an essential function of Christianity. Blessed are the encouragers whose words and deeds sustain energy, enthusiasm, and drive of people trying to change the world to make it better. I've got several scriptures here to read, and I'm going to read them, so I think we'll stop here if that's all right. If anybody's got any comments, we'll pick up here next week and continue on ways that we can encourage. Thank you all for your comments.